Chainlink scores another massive partnership deal with Fidelity and Sygnum Bank. What does this mean for the Link token? Should this be on your radar? Should you be buying the Chainlink dip? We're going to take a look at Bitcoin ETFs. We're going to talk a little Cardano, altcoins, some life hacks we found, and much, much more on today's episode of Sin City Crypto. Let's go.
It's your boy Big Rob back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, well, we're the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel. We take old, boring, and stale information and repackage that thing up in a fun and sexy way. And you know what? Bitcoin is still holding over 60,000, but barely. It's like one of those hydroelectric dams over in one of those water-flooded areas. What? I saw a dam break on X the other day.
Water-flooded areas.
Yeah. Yeah, you ever seen a dam break?
Yeah.
That's 60K right now, man. It's holding back the waters.
So it hasn't broken yet?
It has not. No.
So what are you trying to say? The dam's about to break?
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, man.
What's your question, man?
Would you ever eat a deviled egg hot dog?
No.
Why not?
Absolutely not. That looks disgusting.
It's two of my favorite foods: hot dog, deviled egg, all together in one.
Wow. No.
And there's two of them, one for you, one for me.
No, thanks. We're good, man.
Okay.
Yeah, appreciate it, though. Maybe Rocco will eat it. You know, I saw it was someone's birthday. Actually, whose birthday was it today?
I think it's Mike's birthday today.
Mike Wazowski?
I don't know how to say his last name.
Mike?
Kind of stupid.
Whichever Mike is it. Happy birthday to you. From all of us here at Sin City Crypto.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Special happy birthday from Ashley as well.
Mm.
Now, I did mention Chainlink, big partnership, right? So Chainlink is often thrown around with big names, right? BlackRock, DTCC, Swift, and well, throw Fidelity in there now, and Sygnum Bank. So Sygnum and Fidelity International partner with Chainlink to provide fund nav data on chain. This is a blog headline here from the Sygnum website. Today at .0 Forum, Chainlink announced a collaboration with Fidelity International and Sygnum to bring net asset value data on chain. In this landmark production use case for tokenized assets, the collaboration provides transparency and accessibility around key asset data for Sygnum's recently issued on-chain representation of Fidelity International's $6.9 billion institutional liquidity fund. Now, interesting here, they give a little bit of a about Chainlink section here. Now, this is a digital asset bank. And so this is what they said about Chainlink in this headline here. Chainlink is the industry standard infrastructure for the tokenized asset economy and has securely enabled over $12 trillion in transaction value and delivered more than 12 billion on-chain data points across the blockchain ecosystem. And talking about their partnerships with Swift, DTCC, ANZ Bank. And so Chainlink continues to make headlines with these massive Web 2 enterprise asset managers, trillion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar companies. And you can throw, again, Fidelity in that bunch. Now, we take a look at Chainlink price, Robin. Chainlink is at, Chainlink is ranked number 15, $14, down 1.8% over the last 24 hours.
No, that's in the hour.
3.5% over the last, it just changed. Okay, so 3.5% over the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
Is everything tanking right now?
It's not holding up very well. Bitcoin, once again, holding that 60K range. So we did spill off to there yesterday.
Now, before we get into Bitcoin, I want to click here and I want CoinMarketCap to take me to Chainlink. But Chainlink at under $14, right? We always talk about narratives and RWA and tokenized assets. We always talk about Ethereum, Ondo. There's a bunch of other like smaller altcoins and layer ones that do specific RWA. But we need to talk more about the one provider, the one project that is going to provide all the infrastructure, the data, the bridge, the protocol, everything for all these large institutions when they do start tokenizing these assets. Who's going to move that money back and forth? Chainlink is going to have a big hand in it. And now with a partnership essentially with Fidelity and helping with their tokenized fund, I mean, how bullish are you on Chainlink here? I think we're in this weird phase in the market cycle, right? Where we're still in a bull market. We're just range bound, right? We're hitting the tops, coming back down, bouncing off the lows. It's kind of boring, right? This choppy price action. But these are times to really see, hey, who is continuing to grow? Who is continuing to make partnerships? And I think Chainlink is at the forefront of that. What are your thoughts here?
The same thesis behind Chainlink's dominance in the Oracle market, where they're the industry standard and there's really no competition. You can say the same thing about RWAs, right? I mean, real world asset tokenization. There are some other players, but nobody even near the size of Chainlink or with the reputation, the time in the market. I mean, they've been around, since what was it, 2017? They came out, right?
Sounds correct. Although,
So the thing is it's like, what competitors do they have in this space? And if you are a major financial institution, you're looking to
2017. You're right.
2017. So you want to offer real world asset tokenization. Who are you going to partner with? What blockchain are you going to use? The list is short, and at the top of the list is Chainlink. And so I think that this is going to be one of many. The same way that we see Coinbase as the custodial service provider for all the ETFs, minus one or two. I think it's two, and the other 9 are all using Coinbase. That's because they're the industry leader. They're the standard, right? They're the go-to. So now the same here for Chainlink. They're the go-to real world tokenized asset infrastructure, and that's just, there's no other market. So I mean, at the end of the day, like from a bullish perspective, if you think that RWAs are going to be a major part of the market and something that you should identify, then how could you not be bullish on Chainlink? Absolutely confused why Chainlink is at number 15 on the market cap list. I mean, the only narrative, which is something we've talked about many times before, is the fact that it's really not retail sexy. And so, you can look at American businesses or just, tech-driven businesses that maybe not appeal to the retail. Like, look at Cisco Systems and Amazon Web Services. Now, those aren't something that people are readily talking about, so you don't see their market price skyrocket in big moves, because it's just trending up and to the right over time. But the same could be said for Chainlink. I think that, picking this up, DCAing, getting a position on it now, long-term portfolio, 8 to 10 years.
Let me ask you a question, Rob.
There's no other substitute for them.
So historically, right, crypto and altcoins has been mainly driven by speculation, right? Which coin is going to pop off? Which coin is going to have the most meme coins launched on it, right? Are we moving into the next era of the markets and the crypto markets maturing, and utility and use case is going to be the main driver of price appreciation versus just speculation? I know, of course, there's going to be both. I'm not saying you have to have one or the other, but is the pendulum going to shift to more utility use case driving price versus speculation, or do you think it's still going to be?
It's both.
No, it's both. But
here's the thing: in a bull market where retail sentiment is king, right, and it moves markets, we see that Elon tweeting about Doge, will 2x the price of Doge.
He hasn't done that in a while, by the way.
Yeah, he hasn't. But the fact is that happens in a bull market, right? When retail's looking for a narrative, when people have money on the side and they're like, all right, what's the next one? What should I get into? Oh, this guy tweeted, boom, and they just throw money at something. That is when community, speculation, and just hype really drives something. And so to answer your question, meme coins are relevant to an ecosystem and its valuation during a bull market. And the long-term steady sustained growth is relevant on building infrastructure, partnerships, and overall completion of the roadmap and adoption from institution. And for Chainlink's perspective, bridging finance, traditional finance with blockchain, and not to mention they're still king on Oracle services. So they have cornered the market when it comes to providing data for smart contracts, really, and so I mean, they're winning across the board and their price just is not moved. And once again, it's because there's just interest in the meme coins, in Solana's market, in the flash in the pan type of news. But the overall winner, I think, of this in the altcoin market is going to be Chainlink, or at least one of the overall winners.
Do you think we can see a Chainlink ETF filed within the next 12 months?
Now, I haven't really thought about it. You know, I think these ETFs, I think it's more about the token, how it's managed, and if it's likened to a security, or how was the ICO sale, how is the token distribution, is it proof of stake, is it proof of work? I think that all these things go into account. So I don't think it's simply, oh, you know what, it's used a lot, so let's make it a ETF. I think that you need to have a market that wants the product. So, like, take Litecoin for example. I think Litecoin checks all the boxes, but is there really a market for the ETF for Litecoin? Probably not. So, I don't think we'll see a Litecoin ETF in the immediate short term. I don't think there will be one launched in the next 6 months because I don't think there's really demand for it. But it does check all the boxes. But then you take something like Dogecoin. I think that Dogecoin, there is demand for it, and it also checks the boxes of decentralization and control and time in the market. And so, could we see the Doge ETF launch? I think so. And so I think it's just case by case. For Chainlink, I don't know. I think it more or less falls on the token side. And if the Chainlink token itself is more utility driven versus speculative, and if it has a lot of ties into the Chainlink Foundation, perhaps, or if the Chainlink Foundation controls a lot of the Chainlink tokens, could also be an area of concern. So I'd have to look into it a little further, but I think that we will be getting ETFs for all the major tokens. But in the short term, I think it's going to be few and far between the ones that really have a desired market and been time in the market as well.
Okay. Do want to give a big thank you to French Toaster gifting 5 Sin City Crypto memberships. If you're a proud member of said membership, you now have access to all the channel emojis, and you're supporting the channel. So big thank you to all of you that support this channel. Speaking of supporting, we're not getting support from the CTF, guys. Shoot. Yesterday, 13.7 million of net outflows. Selling. BlackRock, 14.1 million of inflows. Fidelity, 5.4 million of inflows. Bitwise saw $6.8 million leave their ETF. And Grayscale, back at it again, 32 point. I mean, they got to be done at some point, right?
But here's the thing. Like, you do realize that if yesterday was red, then it's going to be outflows. Vice versa, right? No, I'm just saying I don't take much away from this now at this point. I used to be relevant. Inflows, outflows used
So
to
you
be
don't think it's
relevant.
important?
No.
Why not?
Because if Bitcoin goes from 63,000 to 60,000, as we did, the ETF providers are required to sell because there's sell pressure and people are selling Bitcoin.
So then I see this in the chat all the time, right? I see this in the chat all the time. Well, on those big outflow days, 129 million, why didn't Bitcoin rally? And I know it did yesterday, but we've seen times where we've seen big inflows and no rally.
No. At this point, it's correlated 100%. And so it's just delayed by a day. And so if Bitcoin right now we're at 60,000, if it goes to 63,000 by the end of the day, then the ETF providers are going to be required to buy, right? And so tomorrow we'll come in and we'll see that it's up. And so I think that this used to be a relevant metric when we were looking at how much rebalancing are we seeing from Grayscale and how much inflows are we coming in. But now that Grayscale's at market, there's no longer a premium. They're no longer off of the market price. It's basically just a 24-hour delay from what has happened on the markets, right? So if you look at a 24-hour volume, which, like, if you look at the exchange volume and for inflows and outflows on exchanges yesterday, it's going to be the same as it is today on that report. So for me, I don't put much into it anymore. I think it's. I mean, it is a number that's representative of what's happening on the ETFs, but I don't know.
Okay.
I don't take much away from it now.
A lot of people are disappointed with the halving. You know, grew up in the 90s and we had the Super Nintendo, right? Where you plug the thing in. What would you do if the game wouldn't work? You would pull it out and what?
Just go outside and play on with my friends, bro.
I can never. Anyways, for normal people, they would pull the game out, blow on it, and then put it back in. Well, have we tried that with the halving? A lot of people, again, and shout out to Crypto T, post a lot of funny memes on her page.
What about Ashley? Do you have any idea what this means?
She doesn't even know what an N64 is.
That's what I'm saying. So these,
What did we say?
the video games weren't on the App Store in the past, in case you didn't know.
I know that.
so,
Go on.
and so you would blow air into the cartridge, and it would work sometimes.
I had a GameCube. That worked. Blowing on
GameCube?
it.
That was Nintendo,
That was
right?
a CD. You don't blow on CD.
Yeah, GameCube.
Yes, it did. No. It had the little square thingy.
Oh, yeah, she's right.
The square thing was a CD, right?
No.
Oh. I'm just agreeing with Ashley.
The GameCube, I remember it had a door on the top, and then it opened up to a CD.
I don't know if you had a fancy one, but I had like the little thingies.
GameCube.
Yeah, look it up.
While they're looking up GameCube, allow me to.
Yeah, see there. This big
Cube?
Yeah, this
It was not a CD. You're lying to me.
this right here.
It was a floppy disk.
See this button? You hit this button here.
No, but it was it was like a rectangle thingy.
I think you're both right.
Like, look.
You might have had a
open.
fancy
See, it
one,
says
but I didn't have
open.
no
Then
fancy
this right here. This is where the disc would go in. Yeah.
No.
Proof of CD, Robin. Proof of CD. You know, let's talk about something more important than that. Is a great movie. You guys have seen Tarzan, right? Have you seen Tarzan?
I have.
Okay. Well, I'm curious, Ashley. Have you ever thought about, well, if Tarzan was carrying Jane on the rope with both hands, how was he holding onto the rope with his body? Have you guys thought about that?
Maybe it's just one of his dreadlocks.
Nope. It's his butt cheek. You know, we bring you things that, you know, I'm sure you watching, you've been wondering about this for the longest time as I have. Here is your answer. You're very welcome. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. Also,
Is the Tarzan meme coin on Solana?
not yet. Are you going to launch one, Rocco? Yes, he is. He's going to launch Tarzan in Italy meme coin. Anyways, before we move any further, I want to give a big thank you to our channel sponsor, Legacy Network. Legacy Network is bringing an app to the store where it's going to allow you to better yourself, work on your self-improvement, time management, business, whatever it is, and make money and have fun in the meantime. Their token is launching over the next couple of weeks. App should be going live very, very soon. Make sure to join their Telegram to stay up to date on everything Legacy Network. And big thank you to them for supporting this channel.
Also, the speaking of Italy, you do have Italian Air Force jets will fly over the strip in Las
yeah,
Vegas
so that's
between
cool.
1 and 2 p.m. I didn't even know there was an Air Force for Italy.
Really?
Yeah, it's called Frecce Tricolori. They're very popular because they do a very tight flight. They're very famous, yes.
Yeah, I'm,
Will you be in attendance?
Yeah, no, sure.
you just have to look up and you see him, right?
That's how planes work, yes.
Yeah, so attendance where? He can just step outside of his house and look up. Anyways.
No, they're over the
It's fun.
strip.
They're very famous, yes.
Yeah, but you can still see him.
Yeah, it's not only about pasta, Dave. We have more than that. You know that, right?
Don't tell me, tell him. He asked if
they have-
you
they
even
have
had an
more
Air
than-
Force.
We do have, you have internet. You can browse it sometime.
I'm a sucker.
Yeah,
for Air
I love how I say a joke and then he gets mad at you.
I know, yeah. What the hell, dude? God, you guys are in cahoots. At least,
Coming back
at least I
for
got Jason
Tarzan
and Ashley.
thing.
They're my friends. Thank you, guys. Chase,
We're friends.
you guys, never mind. I do want to share this from Jupiter. So I always talk about one of the big reasons I'm so bullish on Solana is everything they do, and not only everything they do, but everything their dApps do, right? Take Jupiter, for example, is always geared towards the retail investor, the average person that is looking for convenience, that is looking to, hey, what's the most seamless transition? Where we're talking about bringing Web 2 to Web 3. What is the most seamless transition where people don't have to think twice or read a whole book or watch 10 videos before they figure out how to do a swap? And Solana and its dApps have always been leaders in that. And one of the big things, Robin, that's been an issue, not just this cycle, but every single cycle, is rug pulls, scams, yada, 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 everything, right? People are like, I want to buy this, but I don't know if it's a scam. They don't have all the resources or they click on whatever. Jupiter's looking to change that. And so I want to share this post here. What if there was a safer, smoother, and cheaper way to ape into meme coins? Introducing ape.jupe.ag. It's built around a secure vault that only your wallet can address or access. And here is a video demonstration of how this thing works. So let's take a listen here. So this is from the website. You go here and you click, and you can see here, Rob, you click on this meme coin, and then it'll tell you, is the freeze authority enabled or disabled? Mint authority, right? So can the contract creator just mint tokens out of thin air and send this thing to zero?
Is this like a Dex Tools or?
So there's something called rug check for Solana, and there's something called D.Fi scanner, where you can put in a contract address and it evaluates the contract for you and says, hey, is there a transfer fee? Is there whitelist?
But is this the same thing?
Same thing, but it's integrated in the app. So you now don't have to contract address, go to a different website. Okay, it checks out. Let me come back. You can do it all through the Jupe app. Before you click buy, it'll have everything in front of you, and you can say, okay, cool. All right, before I buy this, you can double check. It's all there. Talks about large amount of liquidity unlocked.
This pops up automatically whether you want to.
Yeah. And so I'll kind of rewind it, and you can see. So once you log in, right, and your new listed tokens, you'll say you click that one, and then on the bottom it says buy, but it gives you this first. You can click on Bird's Eye, Deck Screener, and then you click on buy, view transaction, and same way Jupe has always been. It'll automatically just go into your wallet, whether you're using Phantom Wallet or Backpack Wallet, whatever you want to do. And the cool thing too here, Rob, is, both you and I have both traded in meme coins, and Rocco has too. Some of them you have to adjust the slippage, right? And you always wonder, well, is 5% too high? Can I go 4%? Because the lower the better, correct?
Yeah.
And so sometimes you have to keep playing around with it. Jupiter will automatically adjust your slippage depending on the volume that is traded on these meme coins and how much liquidity there is, and it will maximize it to make sure you get the most tokens. And it's all done for you in-app. Boom, bam, boom.
Boom, bam. Wow. Cool.
I mean, this is, what are your thoughts here?
I think this is a natural progression of these dexes, right? Because what the features that you see on other phones or the features that you're seeing on apps that you have to go to a third party for are all going to get integrated into the base app, right?
But it's always Solana's ecosystem that is leading the way in these things.
No, because Ethereum was leading the way before, right? Before Ethereum, you had the deck. Before Ethereum, there was really no DeFi, so they're the ones that created Uniswap, or at least the dApps that were built on Uniswap there first. Now it's just the building is now shifted over. So you've had a transfer of the baton. We went from Ethereum, but it hasn't always been built on all this. So the innovation first and last cycle came from Ethereum. Now the innovation is shifted over to Solana, and this is going to happen with everything. So whatever feature that you like that you can find from a third party that you would regularly use, whether it's a Etherscan, it's a Dex Tools, where you can vet the projects, whatever it is, slippage. These are all going to be packaged under the umbrella that is on the dApp or the layer 1, and so. The same thing with the iPhone. When for years, it was like 6 or 7 years, the iPhone, you had to download a flashlight app. And then eventually they just gave you the app. They just gave you a flashlight button. And so it seemed like a no-brainer. Like, why do I got to download a flashlight app for my phone? Like, can you all just put this thing in here? Same thing, like, why can't you just tell me if this is locked up or not when I go to buy it? Why can't you automatically adjust the slippage when... Instead of me having to play the guessing game, it would just seem logical that you would just include this in the suite of services. And so we're going to see more and more of this. Now, what I'm concerned about is that, Coinbase has been very progressive on everything, right? They have their layer 2, they have their wallet, their Web3 wallet, they have the base chain, they have staking outside the US. They're expanding their services. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Coinbase offer every piece of service that you would want in crypto, so that way they can keep them in their own ecosystem. Because I look at Coinbase in the same way I do look at other technology leaders like Amazon and also Microsoft and Apple. They're the leaders in their sector, and so for me, and they're the ones that are always kind of like absorbing all the small companies and making their products 100% usable to their broad audience. I think that Coinbase is going to do the same thing. They're going to see, because Coinbase was doing NFTs, remember, when NFTs are popping off. And now Coinbase is doing the layer 2s when the layer 2s are popping off. And I wouldn't be surprised if DEXs start popping up on Coinbase, right? So,
you mentioned the iPhone flashlight. Do you know that it's integrated with Harry Potter spells? So if you say, "Hey Siri, Lumos," it'll turn on your flashlight. You're welcome. Speaking of, no, you guys don't find that cool? Pretty cool, right? Try it, Ashley. It's fun.
I don't want to say anything, but
Yeah, please don't say anything, Rocco. It's probably for the best.
you make fun of me and then you play with Harry Potter and your flashlight. Yeah.
Why do I feel like David would be in the bathroom and be like, Lumos? His
Keep
wife's
going,
like,
keep
what are you
going.
doing in there?
She bought me a wand for Father's Day, okay?
Yeah. Magic wonders.
Yeah, magic wand to make you guys disappear. So let's talk about Consensus, the company that's being sued by the SEC, also the company behind MetaMask. They have acquired Wallet Guard to help protect MetaMask users against hacks and scams. Wallet Guard offers a popular browser extension that can be used to identify scams and wallet drainers in real time. These are all important things to help protect people, help protect you, help protect the new people that are going to come into our space. And so really excited to see watch in real time the evolution of these dApps and really what they're doing to help users, protect users. This is all free market. And so super exciting for that. I don't know if you have any comments on this, but it's a pretty straightforward. And then Jerome Powell spoke yesterday. A couple of things highlighted here. So he talked about the trend of disinflation appears to be resuming. So inflation is coming down. They need to be more confident before reducing rates. They don't see a 2% inflation target this year or next. So we could be going into 2026 before we see that 2%. Budget deficit is very large and unsustainable. 4% unemployment is still very low. Moving too fast creates risks of inflation returning. Seems like we're all talking about rate cuts and how that's going to flood new money in the market, and so doesn't sound like we're getting rate cuts anytime soon. So something interesting to kind of keep an eye on. I know a lot of the macro investors, the stock market investors, and a lot of that money also does flow into the crypto markets. These are things they pay attention to. They could try to front run what the government and the Fed's going to do and the Treasury is going to do. And it seems like we're going to hold steady for quite a while, but I feel like we fared pretty well. I mean, for BTC to be over $60,000 when all the outflows we've seen, with all the negative sentiment we've seen, and also with the restrictive monetary policy from the Federal Reserve and from the government, I think is pretty bullish.
Yeah, I just, the thing is like zoom out, look at the overall economy. You have what it was supposed to happen was the Fed increased rates and we were supposed to slow the economy and, borrowing is supposed to be more expensive. And what we've seen is the opposite, right? And well, maybe we've slowed down that parabolic growth that we had in 2021, but S&P 500 breaking all-time highs, and the NASDAQ breaking all-time highs, gold all-time highs, and Bitcoin all-time highs. And so you find yourself in a situation where the Fed was supposed to be suppressing spending, slowing down the economy by raising rates, and it hasn't happened. We're still in all-time high territory in the economy and Wall Street and commodities, and house prices have not come down. Maybe they've slowed down a little bit, but the cost of borrowing is at all-time highs, or they're at 20-year highs. And so inflation I don't think inflation is going to slow down. I mean, at what point are we going to get deflation in the monetary system, right? And when are we going to suppress how much money is in circulation, the borrowing? When are we going to reverse that? It's not going to happen. And so I think that we have this steady, sustained period of high inflation for the next 5 to 10 years. And so with that said, I think the new norm is, hey, 3 to 5% inflation. 3 to 5% inflation is going to be the new norm for the United States. And at some point, when either a new president comes in, or if the current president wants to get reelected and spur voters' interest by pumping up the economy, basically what I'm saying is that I think Biden is going to put pressure to cut rates, or when the next president comes in, if he were to lose, say Trump gets in office, he already has said that he's already been very outspoken that the rates are too high. I think he's going to aggressively cut. So within the next 6 months, we're going to get cuts anyways, whether it's from the sitting president and the executive branch that we have in office now, or the new one. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here in the future. So I don't put much into the inflation number because I don't think it's going to come down. Do you think inflation is going to get under 2%?
I've said this for a very long time. I think 3% will be the new 2%.
Yeah.
I think they're going to move that benchmark up. But I do think that as AI grows and we talk about taking over jobs and whatever, I think it's going to help with inflation. And a word of advice to you watching, if your career doesn't require a skill that needs to be learned, a skill that can be taught, I would look to acquire certain skills to be able to make more money. What I think we're going to see is the automation of AI replacing the non-skilled job, right? Think fast food workers, think restaurant workers, whatever it is, which I think ultimately will help with inflation and prices. And I think the other thing as well is something like payments moving to blockchain or stablecoins being integrated, that 3 to 4% that we end up paying as consumers on behalf of the business, because they have to pay that fee to Visa, MasterCard, Amex. I think that could potentially also help with inflation. But you don't want to be stuck in a job that is going to be very easily replaced by artificial intelligence, where it's just that there's absolutely zero reason to pay someone $20 an hour or $15 an hour plus benefits, plus vacation time, plus deal with them. We could just buy a robot for $100,000 and it could work for 20 years and you don't got to do anything. And so I think that's going to help. But
technology obviously becomes cheaper with innovation, and obviously the cost of electronics and the return that you get with compute power, it's going down. And so from an inflation perspective, sure, maybe your iPhone stays at $1,000 or an $800 or $1,200, whatever that is. Maybe the price of technology, the computer, the tablet, maybe all of that stays the same, and maybe it offsets inflation. I think that's kind of where you're getting at, is that, hey, we'll get inflation, but it's going to be tampered down by technology and the cost of innovation there, and particularly AI and efficiencies in the markets. But at the end of the day, we still are going to have 5 to 10% real inflation because of how much money we have, borrowing, trying to service debt by borrowing more money. At the end of the day, our fiat system is 100% broken, and we're just trying to slow the pain with technology because we're the technology leader. And so I don't know, we're in a very interesting spot. Inflation ain't going to get any better. That's the sad news. And maybe for a short period of time, it dips down or drops to that 2 or maybe 1.5%. If that happens, it's only short-lived, right? Because what happens if inflation gets down to 1.5%? The Fed's going to cut rates, and they're going to have spending, and they're going to have more inflation. Like it's at this point, I hold very little faith that inflation comes down. And if it does, the Fed is going to reverse rates, and then we're going to end up right back where we were anyways. So,
okay. Let's take a look at the markets.
All right. So we got Bitcoin at 60,000 still. So holding that support. If you take a look at Bitcoin's chart in the last 24 hours, it's not boded well here. So yesterday's show, we were at 62. Now we're at 60. You take a look at the 1 week, not anything too dramatic, kind of right where we were. But take a look at the month, off of the 70,000. But you go back to the year, this is still a range bound channel that we've been at. We entered in
Boring.
February. So it's been 5 months now, essentially of this when we broke the 60K range. And so when is the breakout? Who knows? We went from here from 30 to 40,000. We were here from October to February, basically. And we broke out after 4 months. And so now we're at 5 months. I would expect another breakout here in the short term. Getting into the altcoin market, not much in the green outside of WorldCoin. This is up 5%. Everything else is pretty flat. Nothing else over 1% on the week. I mean, on the 24 hours. But take a look at the week. Akash Network still up 16%. I think there is a big focus on AI as far as diversifying your AI position because of the consolidation of the Fetch and Ocean Protocol Singularity Net merge. And so if you want to have exposure to more than one AI project, well, the options are ASI and Akash for the most part. You can go to some layer ones that are focusing on AI, but ones that are just, hey, AI token, those are, less options out there now. And then taking a look at what's down today, the meme coins have taken a hit. We got down 14% on the Dog with Hat and Bonk. ETH name service down 14%, but still holding pretty strong for the week. And then Phantom and BitTensor also.
BitTensor had a big hack of one of their subnets.
Did they?
Yeah.
I missed that one.
Yeah. Not good. That's it.
That's it.
Wow. A lot of people are, the range bound, boring. But if you're patient and you have your range mapped out, which is very easy, 60 to 70, right? Right now, maybe a little tighter, 60 to 63. Long 60, short 63. And long a nuclear explosion. God damn, Billy. What does that say? Says, sorry, it's American, just like Alex. So, community, can we flat smack the like button? Yes, Billy, flat smack the like button. We appreciate you. And also, Alex So with a $5 Canadian super chat said, sorry, it's Canadian. We forgive you, Alex. We forgive
The $5 to buy Rob some Stitch for the t-shirt.
It's actually not $5, it's like $3.40.
Yeah. Someone was making fun of my button here.
Yeah, you
no,
want
there
the
is
glove
no
or what?
button. It goes straight. There is no button.
Let's get a woman's
Three
perspective.
chest hairs.
Ashley, is that like?
Is this too far low buttons?
Yeah. What is?
I think it's a little too far low
It's too
button.
far.
Yeah.
I agree.
For every $100 super chat, we'll add a button. Okay,
It crosses the Elvis stage.
So the
right
next
there.
the next $100 it'll be this one.
Well, if you want to watch Rob dress himself, all you gotta do is donate $100. Wow. Okay. Where have we come as a society? I'm not sure. But thank you to all of you that support this channel. Big thank you to my man, Billy. All right. Let's talk about Cardano. So Mika, right? The markets in, what does it stand for again?
Yeah, that's a
Crypto.
cool ass dude, Mika. I had an old boss and his name was Mika.
Mika comes to me as like a female name, no? I knew a girl named
Wait,
Mika.
well,
She was
we
from
didn't
Japan.
pronounce it Mika. We called him Micah, but it was
that's
spelled
with the H at the end.
spelled exactly the same way.
Oh, no H?
Or maybe I just didn't spell it right.
So Mika, I remember a Japanese girl I knew. Her name was Mika, and she used to wear open-toed shoes with socks.
Kind
Very
of like you with slides and socks.
I got you.
What are you laughing at back there?
Hey.
What are you laughing at over here?
Don't you wear slides with socks?
I do at home.
Thank you, Ashley.
But
Thank you.
he goes out. He came.
When
to
have
the-
you seen me out with
Bro, you
slides
came
and
to the
socks?
studio for
5
a
days
year
a
and a
week.
half straight
5 days a
with
week.
slides and socks and sweat and
But would you
gym
rather
shorts.
see his dogs?
No, just wear shoes like a normal person.
It's hot.
It's hot.
Then why are you wearing socks?
I didn't wear socks.
Just wear the Air Jerusalems, the toe sandals,
It-
and then
It took
just
2 years to put a polo shirt on.
Yeah. Once you button your shirt, I'll
I used
I'll
to
stop
come with
wearing
a sock.
sandals, I guess. Anyways, can we get back to the damn news here, guys? Damn it. So Mika is live.
You
June
start with
30th.
your
It went
friend
live.
Mika.
It's official. New regulatory landscape, right? It's a lot of stablecoin stuff in there. Cardano, according to a new report, is Mika ready? So Cardano actually, just real quick, take a look at Cardano's price action. It is over 40 cents, still up 6% over the last 7 days. It's so easy to fall asleep on quality projects when price action hasn't reacted the way you expected or wanted it to, or the way the rest of some of these altcoins like Solana, like Toncoin have rallied. But you want to look at what is happening under the hood. And with this one here, from this article from Bitcoinist.com, in an environmental assessment mandated by the Emerging Markets in Crypto Asset, also known as MiCA, the Crypto Carbon Ratings Institute has released detailed sustainability indicators for the Cardano blockchain. Cardano's infrastructure, operating on proof-of-stake protocol named Ouroboros, shows a significant reduction in energy consumption when compared to traditional proof-of-work networks. We already kind of knew that, but this is something that they're measuring in the new MiCA bill to deem whether a layer 1 is MiCA ready, and Cardano is. I'm sure there's a list of other ones. But Rob, where do you stand on Cardano, everything that's happening in the ecosystem? You know, if you want to throw price action in there as well. What's
what's interesting is that all of these I don't know if it's compliance, but a project when Cardano moving forward does anything with regulators, it's all going to be done through the community. And so
with the Constitutional Committee?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's voting. And so all propositions have to be voted on, and any upgrades or forks or any direction that Cardano goes in. And so I know that this was kind of put in place before the Voltaire era came. And so obviously the Cardano Foundation has probably sat down with regulators or policymakers in the EU, and which, you know, it speaks loud, because I know that Cardano is trying to be compliant in whatever way they can that doesn't break from the decentralized mold, right? And what are these things gonna look like when the community has to vote on them? You know, what is the next? Say there's a progressive bill passed in the U.S. and the community says, hey, we need to fall into compliance with the SEC or whatever it is, the CFTC or regulators, to check certain boxes to be, quote unquote, a sufficiently decentralized crypto or digital asset. That way we can, appease the U.S. regulators. Are the voters in Cardano's ecosystem going to get behind that? Or are they going to say, hey, let's comply with the SEC? And if they do, is that a good thing? If they do, and so it just kind of put an interesting thought, because this partnership, or this Cardano being MiCA ready, came from the Cardano Foundation, or at least I'm assuming it did. And from now on, these all have to come from the community. So where is the community going to fall with partnerships, nation states, regulation? What do you think?
I think this is more, I don't think this is anything Cardano or the foundation did. I think it's more of, hey, this is
you think it just happened to.
Yeah, this is what Cardano is. And they went in and they analyzed certain layer ones and said, hey, look, Cardano.
So you don't think that Cardano tweaked or say had conversations with MiCA, MiCA regulators, and then maybe tailored some of their analytics to appease them?
Maybe. I don't think so, though.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. But potentially, I mean, it would make sense, right? You got the EU, like you combine all the European Union, you combine them all, they're the second largest economy in the world, right? And so you can't just sleep on an entire region, let alone an entire continent. And so, but I think these are things that Cardano has done for the beginning. The reason they move so slow is everything is peer reviewed, everything is thought through thoroughly, endlessly. They don't care how long it takes. They don't care what the price does. And it's coming to serve them, because as we move into more of a regulatory arena, so to say, or regulatory environment, these things are going to be put in the spotlight. They're going to say, hey, whether we're looking to build on a chain, whether we're looking to allow people to buy, what if it's environmental, if it's safety, if it's whatever it is, if it didn't have an ICO, I think Cardano's got a lot of things going for it as we move into the regulatory era of crypto, We're seeing it in the EU. We're going to see it in the US. We're seeing it in China. We're seeing it in Hong Kong. And so I think it's going to serve projects like Cardano very, very well. And finally, people are going to realize, like, hey, yes, it took long. Yes, it takes forever to roll out, or whatever your issue with Cardano and the way it moves is so slow, yada yada. Whatever that is, it's all going to come to light why it's so important, how it's going to benefit them. While other projects, other layer ones, are going to start scrambling to change things, and we want to be Mika ready too. And well, we have to now do a hard fork because we're doing that's all going to happen. But yeah, projects like Cardano that are already well positioned to take advantage of that. This is man, I've been sitting on this for a couple days here. Very interesting here, Robin. So the U.S. Marshals have partnered with Coinbase. Yeah. To manage their large cap crypto assets. Let me see if I have anything highlighted here. I do. The United States Marshals Service, part of the U.S. Department of Justice, has selected Coinbase Prime to handle its large cap crypto assets. The selection followed a rigorous competitive process where Coinbase won. In the press release, Coinbase said, quote, "We have a long-standing history of supporting law enforcement agencies dating back to the founding of our law enforcement program in 2014. Today, we work with every major U.S. federal, state, and local law enforcement agency." And then I want to share this tweet here from Eleanor Tourette. A division of the U.S. Justice Department, which is responsible for asset forfeiture, has chosen to partner with Coinbase to provide custody for its large cap digital assets. And I'd like to note that Coinbase is currently in a lawsuit with the regulator of the U.S. capital markets, the SEC. So interesting that Joe Biden's SEC is actively suing Coinbase, yet the U.S. government, including the Marshals, including the Justice Department, is actually using that same exact platform for all their crypto needs. Isn't that very interesting?
It's like, first of all, why is the U.S. Marshals partnering with Coinbase? Let's zoom out a little bit here. I mean, it just seems real odd. I don't know. Every time I think of like U.S. Marshals, I imagine like Chuck Norris out here, like doing some like roundhouse kicks with jeans on.
Chuck Norris, you are just...
He's a U.S. Marshal, wasn't he? Wasn't that
he was a Texas Walker Ranger.
Yeah, Texas Ranger. The Texas Ranger and U.S. Marshals is like the same.
It's not the same thing.
It's the same thing. Isn't it the same thing?
It's like saying Spain and Portugal, same thing, you know?
They're pretty similar.
Yeah,
no, there's no train of thought. I'm just saying that this sounds like an episode of U.S. Rangers on TNT or something like that, and they're like partnering with Coinbase, and it just seems so weird and far-fetched. It seems like a Hollywood movie here, and it makes no sense to me.
I like how that's the direction you decided to take this story with.
It's exactly.
I was looking for more of a, Coinbase, but you're suing them.
Okay, the U.S. Marshals who out here are issuing arrest warrants, and the U.S. Marshals have partnered with Coinbase. It's great, man. It's great. I know they have forfeiture and seizures of crypto, and they're one of the agencies that do so. So what are you going to do with the tokens on the back end, or who are you going to use to help you steal people's money? Because that's essentially what it is when you have asset forfeiture. You do it legally, but yeah, I guess use the largest crypto provider here in the U.S. and have them help you with law enforcement.
Yeah,
but I'm telling you, it still seems like a TNT movie or TV series. U.S. Marshals crypto division, and then you have the guy that's like in the dark room. You ever seen the forensic TV shows?
CSI?
Yeah, the CSI. Those are so bad. I'll tell you, it's like CSI version of U.S. Marshals and crypto.
Rob Sal said, "Why Rob so worried about U.S. Marshals? Start worrying about your wardrobe, dog." I think $100 will get him to worry about his wardrobe.
Are you panhandling our viewers?
You started, not me. Let's talk about this. So this has been making its way on X. I mean, just everyone is crapping on Polkadot. And for full transparency, there was a window that opened up with the Polkadot Governance Council where you can submit proposals for a marketing budget. We sent a proposal. We didn't get approved, which is why you didn't see our name on that list of KOLs that took money from Polkadot. But they're now just micro. And I want people to understand, it wasn't like Gavin Wood and the Polkadot developers that decided to shell out this money. It went to a vote on the DAO, and the DAO approved it. And the money that was allocated, the DOT tokens that are allocated for marketing, that is where the money came from. And so every business needs marketing. And so when people build an audience, right, that audience is valuable to market to product people, right? Hey, we got this badass product, Mr. Beast. You get 100 million views a video. We want to showcase our product on one of your videos. They pay them for the size of the audience and to get that exposure. Same idea, but a lot of people now are pointing to only having a 2-year runway with Polkadot, as they're sitting on 245 million in their treasury, not limited to a 2-year runway, and the community is concerned. And so this is a quote here: "Polkadot's treasury is becoming more complex and harder to grasp," said the head ambassador, Tommy Enenkel. Polkadot is spending directly as well as allocating value and bounties and collectives to be spent in the future. And a lot of people are looking at this and saying, well, you spend $4.8 million, well, actually more than that, $15 million advertising, sponsorships, and advertising with influencers. And the price hasn't moved. I think that's what people are like, at least people in the Polkadot community are looking at, like, hey, we're still at $6. I mean, go to the 1-year chart on Polkadot. Outside of one spike to $11, we've been like range bound between $5 and $6, right? For outside of 2 spikes, just range bound. And so I think a lot of people are looking at that and saying, hey, maybe you should put your money elsewhere. But at the end of the day, this is money that was allocated for marketing. This is the money that the governance council votes. They vote yes, they vote no. And it looks like for some influencers and KOLs and a large sum of money, they voted yes. But are you still bullish on Polkadot, Rob? What are your thoughts on Polkadot currently where it's
their treasury is going to run up in 2 years. That treasury is supposed to be for the long-term growth. And so at the rate that they're at now.
Now, Rob, to be fair, as the price of DOT appreciates, that 245 million becomes.
Yeah. But at the rate they're at now, and you can't just say, oh, hey, our token's going to be worth more later, so let's just keep spending now. Well, like, it makes no sense. And just to mention the token hasn't really gone up much. And so if you're kind of banking on the fact that your token's going to be worth more later, well, at this rate, it's not looking good, put it that way. And if your treasury's running out, and what was a treasury built for, right? When you think, like, let's just say you were developing a blockchain, okay? I got blockchain. I'm like, all right, so we're going to set some money aside. What are you setting the money aside for? To give to YouTubers and content creators? Because that's where the money went.
It's marketing, right?
Yeah, but that treasury.
But where else are people, Rob? But where else are people consuming crypto?
Let me ask you something. Out of the money, or out of the tokens that the Ethereum Foundation set aside, how much of that do you think went into marketing? Percentage-wise, from building, the developers, developer grants, funding the dApps, having the core developers, paying them, having them creating new roadmaps, creating code, vetting the project, hackathons. You don't go to these. Here's the thing. You go to these crypto conventions. Who's got booths? Polkadot. What are they over there doing? Like, I don't know. I'm serious.
Well, they had the NASCAR.
What takeaway did you get away from the Polkadot booth? As I've been to 3 of them, and I can't tell you one takeaway.
What do you mean? They got a nice booth. They got nice layout.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, let me ask you a question. So Cardano's going to be in a similar situation. They're going to have a large treasury, a large war chest of money to do whatever they want, right? And the community is going to vote. Very similar to what we have here. Do you think that community is going to spend 90% of their money at getting YouTubers to hype up their project?
No.
Exactly. No, they're not. my anticipation will be that Cardano will use that money internally in business grants and workshops,
You onboard
globally,
dApps and
dApps.
fund building. Yeah.
That's the fundamental difference between a responsible chain and and everything is just like life, in moderation, right? I think that marketing is necessary for a business to grow, and do it responsibly, right? If I'm running a business and I spend 90% of my business revenue on marketing instead of paying for my employees or upkeeping the building, or setting money aside for a rainy day or whatever it is, if I'm just like no, we gotta get more billboards, be like, but you didn't pay your employees, you still got open invoices, like billboards. I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta be responsible. You can't go all in on one sector. You can't even go all in on dApps. Like, I'm not saying not market, but just spread out the love and be responsible. And that's kind of interesting because this is done by the community. The community is the one that approves it. And so how do you stop a community from spending money like that?
No, that's a part of the DAO. Like, everyone votes. But here's the thing.
But I know you can put pressure on the DAO. And I know that article you mentioned referenced some fundamental changes that'll prohibit spending.
The interesting thing here too is if you're a large KOL, you have a big audience, and you have a crap load of money, you can buy DOT. You can buy, let's say, $1 million worth of DOT, stake it, and now you have pretty big weight in all these decisions. So you can submit your own proposal and you can vote yes. And of course, obviously, there's going to be more people voting, but you could potentially sway a vote your way. And so will DAOs evolve? Yes. Is the current state of how DAOs are now going to be in the next, what it looks like in 10 years? I don't think so, but who knows? At the end of the day, though, that's what the money's for. And you hand it over to your community. It's like Polkadot Foundation is like, yeah, that's what they wanted.
So what do you think is going to happen when these DAOs, like, say, because you had the dog with hat DAO where they had the advertising on the sphere, which we haven't seen.
That didn't happen.
No.
They raised $600,000.
And so, yeah, I think that projects that are very community driven without much utility, and I'm not saying Polkadot is that, but it's just interesting. I think that DAO, you're going to see a lot more spending from DAOs without solid fundamentals on just blowing money, right? I think that people are going to have parties and things like that. And, a lot of those events, also have parties to them too. Polkadot party.
Yeah, and I think the Cardano community, specifically talking about Cardano, maybe I shouldn't say this. Fuck it, I'm going to say it. I think the Cardano community is actually more advanced as far as thinking and what they're doing in decision making versus something like a Polkadot or whatever the case may be. So if you were to put these two in front of me,
Polkadot, you are dumb. If you bought Cardano, you're smart.
That's not what I.
That's what you said.
What I said.
That is exactly what you said. You said
some people are good spenders, others are not.
You said you're more intelligent if you bought Cardano.
That's
and you're
not what
less intelligent if you bought Polkadot.
Thanks for twisting my words.
That's not twisting your words. It's literally what you said.
Did I say
Not
if you
word
bought
for word.
Cardano, you're smart? If you bought,
You said,
no.
fuck it, I'm going to say it. If you bought...
I said the people that are governing and then the DAO that make these decisions.
The people that are governing, the people that are governing and the DAO are made up of the holders.
I don't know.
It's not like they're elected officials here.
Yeah, my brain turns into a pumpkin after 12.
Literally, you were like, hey, if you guys voted for a president, you're all dumb.
That's not what I said.
That's because they voted for this, right? And the community voted for it.
I'm just saying, like, I look at the Cardano treasury and the people that are in the ecosystem and seeing the interactions on social media, seeing the content they create, seeing the things they talk about and what they do.
They're smarter than the Polkadot people?
I would bet my money that the money that they have control over will be spent better than the Polkadots. That's all I said. Now you draw your own conclusions. I'm going to draw this finger thing, and it's going to put us out of here. So no live show tomorrow, but we'll be doing a premiere, doing a special look back for the first half of 2024. We're going to have that discussion. So you can be able to watch it live, premiere on YouTube, and kind of chat amongst yourselves. And also, we have a video coming out later today in about 1 hour. Why are markets down, and when can we expect the markets to go back up? And when they do go back up, where should you have your money? That video is coming out. So make sure you're subscribed. With that being said, Rocco.
Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July. Yes. Wieners, burgers.
You putting deviled eggs on your hot dog?
Enjoy it all. No thanks.
Barbecue.
Thank you so much for tuning in on behalf of all of us here.
What about you, Ashley?
Shut your mouth. No,
Deviled egg,
not.
hot dog.
Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you later. Bye.
Sin City, crypto.
I'm
Everybody
gonna
know
take
we
my time.
here for entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I split the game, but they gave it. Named according to your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy the dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming, hola, till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon, then to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya. It's over when the finger tornado close ya.